So this is Rocket Your Resume to the Top. First of all, I just want to say, first of all, good morning and thank you all. What a pleasure it is to visit with you today. My name is Paul Krawietz. I'm a career consultant and I'm joined by Yulia Sadko, who is also a career consultant, and she's going to be moderating our session. One common question we get as career consultants is, how can I set myself apart from other candidates for jobs or internships? Well, I have three suggestions. First, attend events like this, like the Optimization Summit. UTD offers so many wonderful things that students can take advantage of. That's number one. Number two, take advantage of the UCC. I'll talk a little bit about all we have to offer. There are immense resources for student success and student, optimization. Number three, write a stellar resume. So we're going to cover all three of those things. We're going to do a UCC overview, or two of them anyway, the resume best practices. We'll talk a little bit about the STAR technique, grammar and formatting, and then a little bit about the UCC website. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one, visit the UCC. This is a vital resource for all students. Some students think it's just the senior year that you would be using the Career Center. Actually, we recommend that you use the Career Center from the first year to beyond graduation. And by that, I mean alumni. We serve alumni, so we have folks 5, 10, 15, 20 years returning after they've graduated to UT Dallas for guidance. We offer a lot of programming and a lot of valuable services. And of course, we prepare students and alumni for careers that we hope that are meaningful to them, impactful, and last a long, long time. So a little bit about the UCC. There's 4 pillars. We have career development, which Yulia and I are part of. We have experiential programs. We have student employment and employer relations. And notice the steps that lead up to that. Those are welcoming steps. And we hope that you take the first step and take advantage of the resources that we have to offer. A little bit more in depth. So the steps in your career preparation. First of all, career development. That's things like advising. We have wonderful resources that students can use to find a good career match. We help with.
Are you trying to share any slides? Because we can't see it.
Oh, yes. Definitely. I'm sorry about that. How about now?
Yeah, we can see that. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yeah, let's go back. So there's a picture of our building, the UCC, and there's the 4 pillars with the steps and major components of our center. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about those. We have career development, which I already talked about. We have experiential programs, and that is so important for students. Internships, co-ops. Co-ops are like internships, just a little bit longer, and usually paid and usually full-time. We offer job shadowing, externships, which again are like internships, just shorter. And then we have internship processing and credit for internships. We have student employment, where you can gain professional experience while in school, and that includes on and off-campus jobs. And then employer relations, which does things like connecting students with employers, hiring communicating with the hiring recruiters that come to campus and really like UTD students. They offer career fairs, networking opportunities, and employment panels. So you can see within the 4 pillars, there's a lot going on in the UCC from the beginning, from the time you walk on campus to the time you leave and well beyond. Just checking in. Can everybody hear and see me? Would someone please unmute and let me know?
Yeah, we can see it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. All right. Well, So the area that I work in is career development, and that's what we're going to spend most of our time on here. So that's giving students or helping students develop the knowledge and skills to make informed decisions. And we do that through multiple things. We advise, we have one-on-one appointments. We have the university purchases multiple assessments that help students, especially students struggling to find a good fit or a good major. And then practice. We have practice sessions to help students improve. Some specific things that you might want an appointment for would include the most common resume and cover letter reviews. You want a solid resume and cover letter to send out to employers. We offer LinkedIn reviews too. Now remember, these are personal marketing documents. Your LinkedIn account, your resume, your cover letter are all about marketing you. We offer career assessments, like I've already mentioned. We have job and internship opportunities. Um, and we have mock interviews for students. I'd like to introduce you to our team. Betsy Shea, who you already met, she did the introduction. She's our associate director and she oversees alumni. She works with all the students that return. Bethany Ahoy works with ATEC and Arts and Humanities. I do undeclared and IS and NSM. Yulia does ECS and NSM. And then Alan does JSOM and BBS. So this is Alan up here, top right. Betsy's in the center. Yulia's in the lower left. And Bethany is in the lower right, just so you can put some names with some faces. Wonderful people that are here to help you. All right, optimization tip 2. Let's talk about the resume and some best practices. And really, we want to talk about the optimal resume. So what is the optimal resume? It's a summary, knowledge, skills, and abilities that pertain to a specific job. Let me repeat that, to a specific job. I'm going to come back to that point. It's a marketing document, as I already mentioned. And resumes are subjective, but what we follow in the UCC are best practices, and we talk to employers all the time. So we're very, very concerned about best practices and the most up-to-date techniques in resume and cover letter and LinkedIn formation. Now, you might be surprised by this. Studies show that hiring managers spend only 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Isn't that surprising? You would think that it would be longer. But realize if you're at Texas Instruments and you're a hiring manager and you're hiring a software developer or an engineer and you have 200 applicants, that's a lot to go through. So you can imagine that the hiring managers don't spend a lot of time on resumes. They review them briefly, and to be honest, they probably have 2 piles, one pile for further review and one pile for discarding, to be honest with you. So you have a very short time frame to make an impression on a hiring manager. That's why we're spending time talking about this today. I'd like to go back to this. Your resume should be targeted for a specific position. And that's extremely important. If you walk away with one thing today, keep that in mind. And I'm going to go into it a little bit further in our presentation. Resumes, 1 to 2 pages in length. I got one the other day that was 3 pages. So I had to instruct the student that as a new graduate, it needs to be very concise, very to the point, and very targeted. Generally, new graduates should have a one-page resume. There are some exceptions, but for most folks, 1 page should do the trick. Is a hiring manager likely to turn to the second page? Probably not, if they're only looking at it for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So the other thing is a lot of people think they'll impress the reader with fancy templates and multiple colors, a lot of bolding, italics, all in one resume. Remember, that's all for emphasis. And so it loses its effect if we try to be too fancy. All right. We recommend that you do a master resume. You're going to do things throughout your college career and your career, and you may lose track. So we recommend that if you do something eventful that's worthy of your resume, like attending the optimization summit, that you put that on your master resume as you complete it. Master resume is not one page. It is for you. It is your working document. It can be as long as you want, but it is a collection of everything that you've done. So one document, it's a cheat sheet, and it helps you formulate and target your resume. Living document, it's dynamic, it changes, it's updated frequently, and it's going to provide content that's going to be helpful to you as you start applying for jobs and targeting your cover letters and resumes. All right, let's look at tip number 3. Customize it. Customize your resume for each different job application. There's certain keywords, and let me just go back. There's certain keywords that are on that job description. The job description they're telling you who they're going to hire. They're telling you exactly the type of person they're looking for, the education, the skills, the knowledge, the computer capabilities. It's all there. And the closer you can match those keywords that they have in the position description, the more likely you're going to get an interview in general. So what should be customized? Header, profile statement or summary, your experience, your education, your volunteer and academic experiences. And that's not all. There could be other sections. You might be really involved and get awards, or you might have certain projects that you want to highlight, or there may be some certifications that you have. All of that is resume worthy, customized for you and that particular job. So those are some major sections. Let's break them down. Header. You want your name to pop. So your name needs to be the first thing at the top, bolded, and the font should be a little larger. Not huge, but we recommend 14 to 16 points. This should be a simple section, the old KISS principle. And here we have an example, Mary Butler. We have her name, it's bolded, it's larger font. We have her title, and we have her contact information. One common mistake on resumes is not providing contact information. So we want to make sure that we have our phone number, our professional email alias, and then LinkedIn. And by professional email alias, I mean, this is very mary.butler@gmail. I've seen some that aren't quite as professional. So think about a professional email alias versus something that you would share with your friends. Okay, profile summary. There used to be a time when we would put objectives on resumes, and that's kind of obsolete. So this is an optional section, but the profile summary is a very short section that talks about your goals, your experience, and what you can bring. So we recommend that this is probably the first thing beyond your name that the hiring manager is going to look at. So things like your goals, keywords, some high yield keywords from the position description are helpful. The years of experience you have, any specialty areas, soft skills, hard skills, and make them relevant to the position, and achievements that you've accomplished that you want to bring into your resume. Next, well, here's an example. Highly organized and diligent student with 1 year of experience in customer service, seeking an internship in the healthcare industry, adaptable with an ability to work independently, as well as with a team to help organize to help the organization reach its goals. So keywords from the job description, might be customer service, it might be adaptable, it might be independent, or it might be teamwork. So I hope that this is coming through, that job description is really a critical document as you complete your resume. Another section, experience. We want the most relevant experience. The most important stuff should be at the top and the top of every section. So most relevant experience or information. Generally, resumes are done left to right. That's how they're read and designed. I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a sec. And again, I want to emphasize, pick one way to emphasize, bold or italics or underline, and don't overuse it because it loses its effect. The other thing is think about your accomplishments. Think about what the hiring manager is looking for. They don't want a job description. What's better than a job description is what you did, what you accomplished, what you learned, or what you can offer the organization. So a typical header is going to be your job title, or internship title, or leadership title, things like that, the dates, the company, and the location. All right, let's look at number 4. Optimization tip number 4 is use the STAR method. And let's talk about that. So STAR stands for situation and task and action and results. And so there you see a graphic that shows this person working through it. It's a way to prepare and think and jot down the best way to provide meaningful accomplishments or accomplishments on your resume. So situation, task, action, result. Here's some examples. Let's break it down and then we'll put it all together. So this person was a project coordinator. So the situation for them was they served as a project coordinator and they completed projects on time within scope and on budget. They conducted a task analysis, a cost analysis. They coordinated 6 work teams. They identified a project timeline. They supervised and they ensured they stayed on schedule. So that was their task. So it kind of breaks it down. See how different that is. It might be based on a job description. And then action. So they divided 20 contractors into 6 work teams, delegated assignments based on the different specialties. They planned project phases and they established timelines. That is powerful information. And the result is successful execution, completing the job on time and reduce cost. So what I see a lot with resumes is I see situations and I see tasks. And that's good. That's a good start. But to really up your game, add the action and the result. That is extremely meaningful to hiring managers. Here's the final product. So this person thought through the S, the T, the A, the R. Here's what they came up with. Coordinate and supervise 6 work teams consisting of 20 contractors. Successfully completed the project within the established timeline while reducing project cost of 15%. So again, to point out, they're not just saying what they were responsible for doing, they said what they did. They said what they accomplished. This is meaning to hiring managers because they now see a skill set, an objective skill set with numbers associated that shows what they actually accomplished. Volunteer and academic experience is another section. It's relevant and transferable experience. Do not think that volunteer experience is not resume worthy. It is relevant and so many transferable skills that can result from volunteer work. And the same way with academic experience, there's certain classes that are very high yield, that hiring managers are looking for completion of these classes or gaining certain skills like in software packages or design packages, things like that. So this is a very important section. So it should include your role in the organization, the date that you were there, and the location. And again, here's an optimization tip that's very important. Don't just list the volunteer activity like Habitat for Humanity. I would put, what did you accomplish? What were the projects? Use the bullets, use the STAR formula, start with the verb, and produce your, include uh, the action that you were involved in and the results. This goes for leadership positions too, such as if you're involved in a student organization. Moreover, if you're a leader, like treasurer, president, marketing director, something like that, there are very, very transferable skills. Employers are looking for graduates that can participate in teams and that can work collaboratively toward a common goal. And we see that a lot in volunteer experience. Obviously, you're going to have education, another major section. We need to have our degree listed. So generally, it's recommended don't put BA or BS, spell out the degree. Again, this is formal technical writing. So spell out Bachelor of Science in Psychology or whatever the degree is, or Bachelor of Arts, University of Texas at Dallas, spelled out, not just UTD. And then graduation and year. If you graduated, you would just put the year. If you haven't graduated, you would use the word anticipated 2023. I also see expected 2023. Both of those are appropriate and correct. So you would have your year of graduation or anticipated. Uh, this is optional. You could put how many hours you have completed. That may be meaningful. It may be on the job description. They may ask that. Now, GPA sometimes is tricky. The best practice recommendation there is generally above a 3 is impressive to people and hiring managers. If it's below a 3, I would leave it off. And if it's above a 3, I would include it. I would also add Latin honors. If summa cum laude, magna cum laude, those things are prestigious and worthy of putting on your resume because it shows excellence. We have certifications and trainings. It could be another possible section. This signifies professional development. It signifies that you're already committed to professional development and your craft, your discipline. So trainings might be a course title, the training course title. A lot of our IT, engineering, design folks will get extra certificates, maybe in Excel or some design, CAD or something, and they want to highlight that. It may or may not be part of a course, but they want to show proficiency in that. So training, the training course, the title, where it was accomplished. It might have been offered through Microsoft, or it might have been offered through UTD. But you know, the year it was created, or completed, the month. If it's expired, it's recommended you do not put it on there because it's not current. Some folks have a lot of awards, Dean's List, President's List, service awards, things like that. But a lot of times if it's beyond the UTD campus, people don't know what it's about. So make sure that you give an explanation because you might know what it is, and I might know what it is if I'm reviewing it because I'm on the UTD campus, but someone at Texas Instruments or Boeing or Dallas County or DISD They're not going to know. So make sure it makes sense to the reader. So put star statements with these rewards, have an explanation, and why. Why is it meaningful? Why did you receive it? What did you do? Tip 5. So here's kind of best practices in regards to grammar and formatting, a little bit of a review because they're important. Emphasize, be careful with how you emphasize, either bold, italics, underline, or caps. Don't overdo it. You don't use pronouns. It's formal technical writing, business writing, so we avoid personal pronouns, I, we, she, he, they, things like that. Your bullets, again, all start with active verbs. So it's not I performed, it's just performed. Listing position descriptions, not accomplishments. Again, major important concept to remember. List your accomplishments. What did you accomplish? What do you bring to the organization? Customize, customize, customize. Read the position description. So important. Don't send one resume for all jobs. You should have one resume for one particular job. It's more work, more time consuming. I get it, but it's such a better strategy that's going to yield success. Put in all your employment history as relevant. So don't leave anything out. That sometimes makes employers concerned. It could be a red flag. This is a traditional document, business writing, technical writing. So creative resumes in most industries should be avoided. Some industries, as I mentioned before, it's a little more accepted. Graphic designer, you would expect that. Be really careful about acronyms, especially UTD related acronyms. If they don't have meaning to people off campus. I will admit things like NASA, it might look odd if you actually spelled that out. So there might be a couple of exceptions. CPR, these are pretty worldwide noticeable names or brands or certifications. So there might be some exceptions, but it's best to probably have a career consultant, look at that and give you some advice if you're unsure. So optimize your career journey. How about some takeaways? Start early. UCC is here from your freshman year till the time you're alumni and many years after you graduate. So don't forget about our resources and never too early. Please don't wait till your senior year to come talk to us or take advantage of our services. Make an appointment. Um, our schedules are pretty busy. So if you want to talk to us, we have so many helpful people that will give you as much time as you need. I usually tell students I'll meet with you once or I'll meet with you 11 times, but I want you to be happy with your resume or happy with your interviewing skills or happy with your LinkedIn. And then build your confidence. Start your journey now, whether it's acting or acing your interview, learning to virtually network, or getting the job offer you want. Those are all things that we can help you with. I'm going to, whoops. Well, this is just, bear with me a second, please. Here's our website, and I will point out to you that there's a wealth of information here. We have major and career explorations, so many resources that the university purchases for you. We have career preparation. We'd like to point out this resume guide right here. I'm not going to open it just for the sake of time, but we have that available also for you. It's a wonderful resource with so many important points and best practices as it relates to your resume. And to make an appointment, that is on here. Sorry, I have my mouse has a trigger reaction here. So here's examples: resume drop-ins, resume critiques, all other appointments. We have tons of appointments. Please come and look at this and explore the various options that are available to you with the UCC. A couple of upcoming events: resume workshop 9/1, resume and internship search workshop 9/22, and salary negotiation workshop. All of those are 12 noon, 12 to 1. They are in person. We're returning to in person. So it'll be in the third floor of the SSB. I want to thank you for attending and now open it up to any questions you might have. Feel free to unmute and ask any questions.
Hi there. I have a quick question. So I was trying to book an appointment, but online it was not letting me.
Was it a resume critique or what was the type?
Yeah, it was about resume.
Yes. So so I was speaking to our IT expert, Clint, the other day, and there is an issue. He's working on that. He's resetting. So you're not the only one. That's being fixed. So please keep an eye out. Please revisit it. It has to be reset frequently, and it's that time to be reset. So he is working on that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any tips on how you customize your resume by making sure you're not leaving out relevant employment history? Come talk to a career consultant, please, and share your job description. Um, and just get another opinion, Marissa. It just helps to have someone that's been out in industry working to maybe give you an expert opinion on that. So it's very individualized and it's related to the job description. That's the tool I use. So that would be my biggest suggestion. And certainly, if it's on the job description, then it's relevant. And that's I could talk quite a bit about that, but sometimes we'll have folks that don't want to put server or cashier or bartender or things like that, Marissa, on their job descriptions or their resumes. There's so much transferable experience. I have no experience. That's fine. That's when we highlight your academic projects, your academic skills, your volunteer, so that's not uncommon, Afrida, to have that problem. It's not really a problem. It's very common among undergraduate students. We can help with that, though. Come see a career consultant. We'll just highlight different things. We'll talk to you about things you have done, figure out what's transferable, and we'll help you on that. Does that help? What can I do? Yeah. Hopefully that gives you some guidance. Oh, you're welcome, Marissa. Can you put personal projects on that you just did for fun if it relates to the job you're applying for? If it's relatable and transferable and it has skill development and it can help that organization, absolutely. That's a good question, Marissa. Oh, good, Afrida. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see, somebody's typing. Yeah, I just think back to the server, like restaurant worker, things like that, or cashier. I mean, there's problem solving, there's communication, there's verbal communication, building rapport. If you're a cashier, they're depending on you. There's trustworthiness, there's financial skills, there's so many things that we can highlight from that. So that is definitely something that that I like to visit with students about personally, because I think it's there's just so many skills that result from that are transferable that an employer should really appreciate. It just needs to be phrased in the right way. If anybody wants to unmute, you're welcome to ask a question. We have about 4 minutes. I see that Aramita is typed. There we go. I'm having 8 years of work experience. I'm having 8 years of work experience after bachelor's, but then I took 1.5 years a break, then starting my master's. Will this break have any impact on my job search after completing the master's? I would be prepared to identify what you did during that time. You could address it in the cover letter. So the middle section of your cover letter gives you an opportunity for things just like that. So it's important that you highlight your skills and what you can bring to the organization. But you know, they might be curious why there was a break. And there's, I mean, there are so many valid reasons for people, you know, taking a break or not working during a certain period. So if it's something you're comfortable with putting in the cover letter, you could, or you just recognize that it's there, and during the interview you explain what occurred during that time. But sometimes they wonder if people got laid off and might ask about it. But you know, the other thing is with COVID, people's job histories are just so unusual at this point, and there's been a lot of layoffs. I think people understand that. Do you know of any resources or tips or anything for making a cover letter? Whenever I ask people for help, they always say cover letters are irrelevant, which isn't exactly helpful, especially when a cover letter is still required for applications. It is relevant. It is important. We're developing a whole packet on cover letters. So please email a career consultant um, or get in contact with one of us, and we can share that with you. We have samples, we have best practices. Please come get our help. We're experts in that. It's for COVID. Yeah, well, you again, cover letter, or just be prepared to explain that. Just to confirm, did you mention not to use same resume for every job search? Yes, every job description, every job should have a different customized resume. Oh, thank you, Yulia. So Yulia put in samples and tips in Vault Campus. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Glad to help. I hope y'all got something out of this. We probably ought to wrap it up at this point. Yulia, do you have a second to put the link in for the next? Clint asked us to put the link in for the next session. So there you go. So you got about 5 minutes to get to the keynote. Again, customization is so important. One particular cover letter and resume for one job, and we think that is a huge beneficial strategy that should yield good results. Okay, y'all, thank you so much. It was a pleasure visiting with you. Please come to the UCC. We have so many resources, and would love to visit with you. Okay, if you'd like to hop off, please do so. I'll stick around if there's just anything else. Thank you for doing that. Oh, thank you. Well, you're welcome, Marissa. My pleasure. Okay, folks, hop off. I'll stick around if there's anything. Otherwise, feel free to take a quick break before joining the keynote, which starts at 11 a.m. Thank you very much.